Well, they say in Miami, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, it'll change, and that's probably true, and it is true, it is actually changing. It's getting worse. There's an old saying in South Florida, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, it'll change. Well, it changed. Literally about 10-15 minutes ago, it was pouring down rain. And well, the rain has stopped. The sun hasn't come out yet, and I don't know that it will. It might, but it changes the way things feel. Right now, with the sea breeze and the cloud cover, it's actually a very pleasant, cool day today, and it feels really good out here. So if you don't like Miami weather, wait 5 minutes, because it will change, and it did. Okay, this sign is describing something called the 1135 project. This is part of the Army Corps of Engineers. They're trying to put the ecosystem here in Virginia Key Beach back the way it originally was. A long time ago, there was a tree, I talked about it a little bit ago, called a sea grape tree. Now, sea grapes, I actually find them quite delicious. I like to eat them. If you'll come with me, I will show you an example of a sea grape tree that's right over here. Okay? This right here is a sea grape tree. You can tell it by the big round leaves and all that. And they get these little berries on them that, I guess they're only about that big around. They're not real big. And they don't have a lot of meat on them, but people have actually made wine out of sea grapes. Well, here's some right here. Take a look. Oh, you got some right there. Now, when those are ripe, they will turn red. And at that point, you can eat them. If you try to eat them now, it's definitely gonna make you pucker. Now, there's one. Okay, this sign talks about back during World War II, a Nazi submarine actually sank a commercial ship off the coast out here. And it's my understanding that this whole island was kind of a place where they had spotters that were looking for U-boats. If you'll point the camera that way, that is the Atlantic Ocean right there. So that's the big water. That goes way, way out, okay? All the way over to Europe. Now you'll hit the Bahamian Islands before you get there. But this was a long time ago, back during World War II. Alright, so these are like railroad tracks. They're for like a kiddie train ride that you could put your kids on and they could ride around. These aren't in use anymore, you can tell because the tops of the rails are rusty. Okay, so if you look at the bottom right down here on this beach, on this sign, this is showing that little kiddie train that kids used to ride on. You could put your kids on and they could ride around that little track. That was the track we showed you earlier on in the video. Okay, now, back when I was coming here, this is the kind of thing you saw here. People would launch their boats right off the beach, right here, put them in the water and take off. Now, this was back in the 1950s. So this was kind of the glory days of Virginia Key Beach when it was really a fun place to come to, and pretty much you could do whatever you wanted here. It really wasn't like it is now. They're very worried about the ecology around here in this area, which is justifiable because way back then, not a lot of it didn't matter to us, and we didn't realize the impact at the time. Well, okay, this is a sign that's talking about the beach revival project, how they decided, I guess this was, I don't know, back in about 2000, that they were going to fix things out here. Back in the day, we didn't realize the impact we were having on the ecology. To us, you come out here one day and it would look the same as it did the next week when you came out. So you didn't realize that the ecology had changed out here and had been different. We had no way of looking back into the past of when, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, and see what this place was then with all the sea grape trees, the cabbage palms and all the rest, the mangroves. We had no way to know that back then. But as time goes by, we've learned more, and we can see that we need to be responsible over what we have here. Now, I know you're going to find this hard to believe, but if you look at these pictures, I actually had hair like that when I was that age, believe it or not. I know it's shocking. I mean, look, these guys got their heads covered up with caps and everything, but I actually had hair back in the day. I was actually a reasonably good-looking guy. But as we all know, God has a sense of humor, and he did this. Okay, this is talking about the Environmental and Civil Rights Museum that was brought out here. A long time ago, this was considered a beach for colored people. Only black people were allowed here. And it's not that they weren't allowed, it's they were relegated here. This is where they had to go if they wanted to go to the beach. This was like in 1945, during the segregation era. Well, in 2000, people marched on City Hall and protested and said they wanted this park reopened for people to come here. Nowadays, fortunately, we don't follow after that whole business about, well, this is a black-only beach and all that, or a white-only beach. We don't do that anymore, which I'm happy of. But this brings about the history of the way things really were way back when. Okay, this sign is telling us about the geological makeup of this whole area. Apparently, parts of it are from, believe it or not, the mountains of the Appalachian Mountains. Part of it is limestone sediment that's formed over the years. Now, way back when, apparently, I didn't know this until today, just reading this sign myself. Miami Beach, we hear about Miami Beach. Miami Beach and this were all part of the same island. In 1935 and then again in 1938, 2 hurricanes came through here and cut it apart. They actually separated this from the main part of the island. And so this is what we have now. Virginia Key is a separate key, okay, from Fisher Island, and all of that was part of Miami Beach.
Can you show me that on the map?
Okay, I'm not sure I can. I don't see any real close-ups of it. Okay, well, this is talking about the limestone deposits and all the rest, I do believe, here. Okay. I'm not real sure. Okay. All right, bare cut. Yeah, I don't see anything small enough that really shows me where the island was separated at, but I do know that this is not an unusual thing. Over on the Gulf side of the state, there's a place called Honeymoon Island, and Honeymoon Island was originally attached to the mainland, but a hurricane came through there, and when the water ran back out, it made a cut between Honeymoon Island, which is basically just a sandy little beach, and the mainland. And so now it created an island by washing out the sand in between those 2 points. Hey everybody, Bill 1911 here. Hey, listen, if you're watching this video, if you're enjoying it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, okay? That's really important to us. And make sure you like us, and by all means, come to visit us at askbill1911.com.